Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Good afternoon. On the national news this hour from BGI Television, first the headlines. CBN appoints new executives for Union, Keystone, Polaris banks. AFCC quizzes top ministry officials, ICPCs recovers 50 billion naira. PDP's BWALA meets TINUBU in Aso Villa, pledges support for presidents. Peace project in Southeast incomplete without Kanu's release. On sport, it is impossible for Nigeria to win the AFCON trophy in Côte d'Ivoire. Super Eagles hero Brown Ide. I am Mowiri. Repeat Lawal, the news in detail. A few hours after dissolving the board of directors governing Polaris, Union, and Keystone banks, the Central Bank of Nigeria has appointed new executive directors to oversee the affairs of the deposit money banks. The Apex Bank, in a statement signed by the Acting Director of Corporate Communications, CD Akama, released on Thursday morning, said the appointment takes immediate effect. According to the statement, Yetunde Oni, the first female CEO of the Standard Chartered Bank in Sierra Leone, was appointed as the Chief Executive Officer of Union Bank, while Manir Ubali Ringim was selected as Executive Director of the Tier 2 Bank. For Keystone Bank, Asen Imam was appointed as its Chief Executive Officer, while Chioma Mang got the position of Executive Director. Also, the bank appointed Lawal Modeser Omokayode Akintola as the Chief Executive Officer of Polaris Bank and Chris Ofikulu as its Executive Director. Union Bank Yetunde Oni, Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer Mane Ubali, Ringim Executive Director as well. The investigation into the sleaze in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation deepened on Wednesday, with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission investigators quizzing several top civil servants linked to the scandals. This was as the information learned that impended corrupt practices and other related offenses Commission recovered 50 billion naira from the Humanitarian Affairs Ministry. The money, which was about to be embezzled, was recorded by the ICPC between July and August 2023 and paid into the Central Bank of Nigeria. The information gathered that the fund, which was meant for vulnerable citizens during the tenure of former Minister Sadia Umar Farouk, was blocked during attempts to transfer it into private account and recovered by the ICPC under its former chairman Bolaji Owosonye. An impeccable government source told correspondent that the 50 billion naira was subsequently handed over to the President Bola Tinubu-led federal government. Confirming the development, the source said the funds were recovered when former President Muhammadu Buhari and Umar Farouk were leaving office and President Tinubu had yet to appoint a new humanitarian affairs minister. A member of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Daniel BWALA, was at the presidential villa yesterday, where he met with President Bola Tinubu and pledged his total support for him. After the meeting with Tinubu, BWALA, who was a spokesperson for Atiku Abubakar in the 2023 presidential election, told State House correspondent that he came on the invitation of the president. I also gave him my commitment that as citizens of this country, this is a time for us to throw our weight behind and support the administration, BWALA said. After the meeting with Tinubu, BWALA, who was a spokesperson for Atiku Abubakar in the 2023 presidential election, said, I honored the invitation of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is a father to the nation, who God has given the opportunity to lead the country at this difficult time. So I came to celebrate and congratulate him. He said he is particularly excited about the recent policy decisions the president has taken, which according to him demonstrates that he is about the people and not just protecting his team. He commended him for taking decision against certain ministers who allegedly were said to have committed infraction. Asked whether his support for the president will see him leave the PDP and return to the All Progressive Congress APC, BWALA said that he visited the president as a private citizen, adding that God knows tomorrow. Well, I'm here as a citizen, and by conviction we have towards our country and the need for us to push the country to a better place that we all desire to. So I am not here in the capacity of PDP. First of all, I am not even a leader in the PDP. I am a private citizen. Moving on to the next story. A non-governmental organization, Peace in Southeast Project, has said that its peace movement and move cannot be complete without an advocacy for the release of the leader of indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, from detention. The organization, which was unveiled recently in Bende local government area of Abia State, also called for a non-kinetic approach towards putting an end to the security challenges in the Southeast region. In response to the unveiling, the IPOP spokesman, Emma Powerful, urged the organization to, among its other submissions, intensify efforts for Kanu's release. The only peaceful meeting you can call is to call for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and call for the UN to give us a referendum data for Biafrans to decide their fate, either to stay in Nigeria or to restore Biafra nation. You are watching the national news from BGI TV. The Nigeria Police Force, NPF, has raised the alarm that the virus social media slogan for the new year 2024, "No Green for Anybody," was meant to trigger chaos in the country. Force Public Relations Officer, FPRO ACP Olumuyiwa Adejobi, who stated this in Abuja, said that based on intelligence, the police are informed that the slogan was aimed at triggering a revolution in the country. The police spokesman, however, warned that no freedom is absolute and people should be careful of following illegal trends as freedom cases and ceases when crime is committed, and "No Green for Anybody" slogan will not work at that instance. He said the slogan will not work when anyone is being arrested for a crime by the law enforcement agents. Moving on to the next story. Joseph Aloba, the father of late singer Ilerioluwa Oladimeji Aloba, better known as Mohbad, has made a strong allegation against his son's wife, Wunmi, and lawyer Femi Falana. In an interview with a station, Joseph alleged that his life had been threatened by his daughter-in-law and her lawyers. Crying out for help, he claimed that he didn't know where to live as Wunmi and Femi Falana were threatening to eliminate him. Moving on to the next story. The police command in Gombe State said it rescued 3 babies and arrested 16 suspects in a case of alleged trafficking and criminal conspiracy. ASP Mahid Abubakar, police public relations officer of the command, said this while briefing journalists on behalf of the Commissioner of Police, Ayatul Usman, in Gombe. Abubakar said the case was recorded over the weekend following an intelligence report from the Barunde community of Gombe State. He said 3 babies were rescued from the suspect within the state, while 2 others were trafficked out of the state. According to him, one of the trafficked babies is now in Lagos, while the other has been traced to Anambra. He stated that efforts were on to recover the other 2 babies and return them to the states. Still on the national news, a prosecution witness, Olayemi Osa, on Wednesday narrated to the Ikeja Sexual Offences and Domestic Violence Court how her husband, Olumuyiwa Ajato, allegedly made an act with her granddaughter at their home in Mowobadagri, Lagos. Also, a trader who spoke in Yoruba and translated in English language told Justice Rahman Oshudi that the victim had come to spend the Easter holiday in their home when the defendant did the act. She testified that the incident happened on April 19, 2022, when the victim came for a 2-week Easter holiday. The defendant is standing trial for alleged act of which the law frowns at, who is now 8-year-old. The witness, who was laid in evidence in chief by the Lagos State Prosecution Counsel, Inumidun Sholari, told the court that before the incident occurred, she had asked the victim to go and greet the defendant on Wednesday morning when she woke up. She stated that the victim came in to inform her that her husband gave her money, and she then asked the victim what she said to the defendant, and she replied that she told him thank you. Also, with a second prosecution witness narrated that she had left her sister's granddaughter at home with her husband to go to Idumota Market, adding that upon arrival, she found out that the girl had gone through the acts from her husband. The witness said the girl was moody, and after the family's dinner, she asked the victim to follow her outside so they could get fresh air outside the apartment as there was no light. According to our own interrogation, the witness told the court that she took the child to General Hospital in Badagry, where a medical doctor examined her and confirmed the act was done. Following this inquiry, the prosecution witness also explained that the court Mirabel, they now send a document through the phone to fill and then attach it to the document report. From the judge's statement, however, Justice Oshodi adjourned the case to March 12, 2024 for continuation of trial. Going to sports. The Super Eagles have some of the most talented players on the continent, but Ideye believes they are not ready for the AFCON. Super Eagles hero Brown Ideye has stated that Nigeria will not win the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations, but because they lack cohesion and are unstable. Portuguese coach Jose Pesaro took over the Super Eagles squad 2 years ago, but he has not inspired much confidence since he got on board. The team has struggled to win games both at home and away, and they have looked shaky at all times. Nonetheless, Pesaro will be looking to right his wrongs at the AFCON in Ivory Coast later this month, which comes next week. The former Braga coach invited a strong 25-man squad for the tournament, and on paper, they are one of the favorites. However, Ideye does not share such sentiment, as he believes the team is not ready to win the tournament. Still on sports, to cap it all on the national news. OGC knee striker Terry Murphy is excited to be recalled to the Super Eagles squad for the Africa Cup of Nations, scheduled to start on Saturday in Ivory Coast. Murphy was listed in the provisional squad list for the tournament, but missed out on Jose Pesaro's final squad for the tournament. The Portuguese opted to select Victor Osimhen, Sadiq Omar, Kelechi Iheanacho, and Victor Boniface as his preferred strikers for the tournament. With Boniface out of the squad due to a muscle tendon injury he sustained while in Nigeria training camp in Abu Dhabi last week, the Portuguese coach drafted in Murphy into the squad as his replacement. His injury comes up on top of recent withdrawal from Wilfred Ndidi, who was injured in Leicester City 2-0 win at Cardiff City on December 29. I am happy to be back on the team. Naturally, it was not easy for me to be left out of the team for the tournament initially, Murphy stated. With the sports story, we've come to the end of today's national news. Before we go, some headlines. CBN appoints new executives for Union, Keystone, Polaris banks. EFCC quizzes top ministry officials. ICPC recovers 50 billion naira. PDP's BWALA meets TINUBU in Asovila, pledges support for presidents. Peace project in Southeast incomplete without Kanu's release. We're brought to you on sports. Excited Murphy to join Eagles Sunday, and a second sports story, it is impossible for Nigeria to win the trophy, says Brown Ideye. For update of our broadcast on YouTube, our handle is Babagbagede Imo Television. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell. Select option all to access all of our broadcasts. On Facebook, Bagede Imo with Alawi Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. For advert placement of your goods and services, coverage of events and function, please dial the phone number streaming on your screen. Thank you for watching. I am Moluri Rabil Alawa. Good afternoon.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.